Hello, everyone. Thank you for signing on to today's presentation of the National Park Series Part 1 regarding the Grand Canyon, Bryce, and Zion National Parks. Now, here I am, your host, Jared Kettinger, popping up on your screen here. So, if anyone has any questions at all, do not hesitate to type them right into the questions box on the side of the GoToWebinar panel. I know I look young by my picture there, but I've been with Amtrak for going on 6 years now. And so if anyone has any questions at all, do not hesitate to type them right in. And I promise you I will leave time for Q&A at the end of the presentation. Additionally, there is a handout that you can download if you want. It's right on the side of the GoToWebinar panel in a PDF form that you can print out and take a look at your free time. Now, I'm very excited to talk about our very limited time offer, which is the flash sale we're currently running, where you can save $200 to $300 when you book a package with us. Now, you might be saying, Jarrett, how does that work? Well, all you have to do is book a package by the Friday in January listed on there, and you can save $200 when booking a package with a bedroom or with a roomette, and then $300 when you book with a bedroom. Again, that's $200 booking a package with a roomette, and then $300 booking a package with a bedroom. Now, what's a package? That's hotels, sightseeing, and attractions all bundled together. And so if anyone has any additional questions on that, I'd be happy to answer that at the end of the presentation. Now, here is my favorite slide on the presentation. It's the Amtrak Vacation Systems map. Everywhere you folks are seeing a colorful squiggly line is a route that Amtrak travels on. Everywhere you're seeing a little dot is a destination that Amtrak Vacations goes to with a package, incorporating the hotels, sightseeing, and attractions. And folks, you are seeing that correct. We cross the border up into Canada, and we do cross Canada via rail trips as well. Now, what makes Amtrak different? Well, number one, we've been told by so many of our past travelers that it is a bucket list experience, that people travel with us because it gives them an opportunity to check a big item off of their bucket list. Room to roam. With Amtrak, you can get up and walk around the train at your leisure. Head down to the cafe car, the dining car, or my favorite, the observation dome lounge. Less hassle. To book, all you have to do is call at 1-800-268-7252 or visit your local travel agent. If there's a travel agent you like utilizing that you've used in the past, they're free to book us just the same. City to city service. We travel from downtown city to downtown city all throughout the USA and Canada. In fact, there's over 500 different Amtrak stations to choose to travel through. Satisfying your hunger. When traveling on Amtrak on the long distance routes, if you've been booked into that roomette or bedroom, as I just mentioned a few minutes ago, all your meals are included. And what that means is the pricing is included within the cost of the trip. And so, you don't have to shell out any extra money when you are going down to the dining car. Now, there are about 3 routes that don't have trains that have dining cars in them. So there are trains for the Lakeshore Limited, Capital Limited, and the Silver Star. Those are on the eastern seaboard, really, or they're running between New York or DC and Chicago. And so if you do have those booked with a roomette or bedroom, there's no meals already included because there's simply no dining car. However, you will have them on any of the trains running to the West Coast. And then, of course, there's so many different options to choose from with flexibility. We can customize many of our packages to fit your travel needs. Now, all rail vacations can be customized. One, we can customize them to start from your hometown. There's actually over 500 different stations to choose to travel through. And many of our travelers will actually choose to fly or drive to the first or last point on the trip, but we can always get you round trip from your most local hometown. Now, what does customize mean? Customize can mean a lot of things. One example would be, let's take the Rails to the Grand Canyon package as a hypothetical. So that travels from California, from Los Angeles, going overnight on the train out to the Grand Canyon. You'll arrive in the Grand Canyon area and spend a couple of nights there, and then you travel back. Well, that's that Rails to the Grand Canyon package. And you may say, I want to customize this. I don't want the starting from property on the package. I want to upgrade to see the El Tavar, which is on the canyon ledge. And then I want to add some extra nights at the El Tavar as opposed to just the 2 nights in the canyon. I want to do 3 or 4. Then you may say, well, I'm making it all the way out to Los Angeles to go overnight on the train to get to the Grand Canyon. I might as well add a couple of nights like the Los Angeles getaway. Again, we can customize any of our packages to fit your personal travel needs. And then additionally, you may say, hey, I want to marry 2 itineraries together. So we have the Glacier National Park Express. It does 2 nights in Chicago, goes overnight on the train out to Glacier, spending 3 nights in Glacier, and then finishing the route out to Seattle. And then you may say, well, if I'm making it all the way out to the Pacific Northwest, I might as well spend a little extra time there. And so you might add the Seattle, Vancouver, Victoria rail journey, which travels from Seattle after 2 nights up into Vancouver for 2 nights, and then heads out to Victoria. Now, some benefits of traveling on Amtrak. Number one, you can see the country from the window of the train. And actually, you can see great pictures of the observation dome right there in the slide. And one of the greatest aspects of traveling on Amtrak is having the country unfold before your eyes. Now, one common question is, if I'm bringing luggage on the train, how much am I allowed? Well, you're allowed 2 carry-ons of up to 50 pounds each and 2 check bags of up to 50 pounds each, and that is per person, and that's completely free. Additionally, you may say, when should I get to the train station ahead of my personal travel? Well, we advise getting to the station around 45 minutes to an hour prior. Anything more than that is actually not necessary. A lot of people will naturally think, oh, because I have to get to the airport 2-3 hours ahead of time, it's similar on the train. Well, you can get there simply 45 minutes to an hour ahead of time and still feel comfortable boarding the train. Now, I hope, as we like to say here at Amtrak Vacations, everyone is all aboard as we jump in and start talking about some of our popular vacation packages, highlighting the Grand Canyon, Bryce National Park, and Zion National Park. The first package we're going to highlight is the Grand Canyon Getaway round trip from Chicago. And again, folks, we can have you coming from your local hometown, but this is just one example. It travels out of Chicago, going overnight on the Southwest Chief down to historic Route 66, Williams, Arizona. You get into Williams and spend 1 night at the Grand Canyon Railway Hotel. You get in kind of late in the evening, so in this case, I would just say, hotel, go to sleep, because the next day you have a full day of an itinerary. The next morning you would wake up, have breakfast included in the package at the hotel, and then board the Grand Canyon Railway to go into the south rim of the canyon. You'll get into the south rim, disembark the train, and immediately board a sightseeing tour of the south rim. Meanwhile, your luggage is being handled right to your room. It's kind of like an out-of-sight, out-of-mind experience. The workers are getting your luggage to the room. Meanwhile, you're out enjoying a wonderful tour of the South Rim. After that, you're delivered to your hotel in the afternoon. You're given free time that afternoon, as well as a couple of hours of free time the next morning. You'll then board the Grand Canyon Railway to go back to Williams, spend 1 night in Williams, and then board the Southwest Chief back to Chicago. So that is the Grand Canyon Getaway round trip from Chicago. And again, we could always get you coming from your most local hometown. The next package we're going to talk about, I'm very excited about because it's brand new as of the end of last year, and it's already sold us gangbusters. It's the Grand National Parks of the Southwest. This departs out of Chicago, going overnight on the California Zephyr out to Grand Junction, Colorado. You'll arrive in Grand Junction and spend 1 night at a hotel there. The next morning, you'll wake up. There will be a private luxury SUV with a private driver waiting for you outside of the hotel. And they will actually be your driver and guide for the next several days. From there, you'll start driving west through Arches and Canyonlands National Park out to Springdale, Utah. So you'll stop through Arches and Canyonlands on the way. You'll get into Springdale, and have one night in Springdale, Utah. The next morning you wake up, the same driver and SUV will drive you through Zion National Park on a full day tour of Zion. You'll then be brought back to Springdale, spend one more night in Springdale before going on the transfer back to Grand Junction. And on the way, you'll travel through Bryce Canyon and Capitol Reef National Park, heading back to Grand Junction for one night, and then you'll then take the train back to Chicago. And you'll see in the next couple of slides why someone might want to head out to these national parks. So you have the beautiful arches featured in the slide here, Zion National Park, and then Bryce Canyon and Capitol Reef National Park. And you'll do all of those on the tour. What I particularly like about the tour is that, again, it's your own private driver and with your own private SUV. And so they'll do whatever you want. They'll spend as much or as little time in each of the park as you choose. You may be driving by a beautiful mountainscape, and you may ask the driver to pull over the side of the road so you can get out and snap some pictures. Or you may get a little famished and say, okay, well, pull over at the next restaurant. We're ready to eat. Again, they're your private guide and private SUV for several days, and they are there to be your driver and give you a full tour through all these national parks. The next package we're going to talk about is the Grand National Parks with Yellowstone, Yosemite, and the Grand Canyon. This departs out of Chicago, going overnight on the California Zephyr out to Salt Lake City. You'll get into Salt Lake City and spend one night in Salt Lake, and then you'll take a scenic sightseeing transfer up to Yellowstone National Park for 2 nights there. During the 2 nights in Yellowstone, you will have a lower loop tour of Yellowstone National Park. Now, that lower loop tour will cover the many geothermal features, such as the Grand Prismatic Spring. You'll see a picture of that in a moment. You'll actually get to see the Grand Canyon in Yellowstone. Yes, folks, there's also a Grand Canyon in Yellowstone as well. And, of course, you'll get to see Old Faithful Geyser erupt, which is one of the big draws of the park. After the 2 nights in Yellowstone, you're transferred back down to Salt Lake City. We will provide you one dinner in Salt Lake City before boarding the California Zephyr that evening, and to continue west to San Francisco for 2 nights in San Francisco, which we use as a gateway to Yosemite National Park. So you'll have a full day tour of Yosemite while staying in San Francisco. You'll then go on the Coast Starlight train between San Francisco down to Los Angeles and spend one night in LA before going overnight on the Southwest Chief to Williams for one night in Williams, one night in the Grand Canyon, and then head back east on the Southwest Chief. And folks, I told you a second ago you'd see it. This is the Grand Prismatic Spring, one of the beautiful geothermal features of Yellowstone National Park. You'll have a full day tour through Yosemite National Park as well. So you'll have a fully guided day tour that'll pick you up in the morning. You will have a morning tour of the park, and then you're given a few free hours to explore the national park on your own, and then you're delivered back to San Francisco at the end of the day. And then you'll head down to the Grand Canyon with round-trip services on the Grand Canyon Railway, as well as a motor coach Freedom Rim tour of the south rim of the canyon. So that is the Grand National Parks featuring Yellowstone, Yosemite, and the Grand Canyon all on one package alone. And then this is another brand new itinerary we have, Grand National Parks Discovery on the California Zephyr. Now, this package starts in Denver for 2 nights in Denver with a full day tour out to Rocky Mountain National Park. You'll then take the California Zephyr west to Grand Junction, where you'll start the Arches, Canyonlands, Bryce, and Zion trip that I mentioned on the Grand National Parks of the Southwest. It's the same private driving service with the private guide. They'll travel from Grand Junction, heading west through Arches and Canyonlands National Park, out to Springdale, Utah, for one night in Springdale. The next morning you wake up, again, that driver is with you as they drive you through a full day tour of Zion National Park, and then go back to Springdale at the end of the day after the tour. On the way back to Grand Junction, you'll drive through Bryce Canyon and Capitol Reef National Park, spend one more night in Grand Junction before continuing on the California Zephyr out to Salt Lake City for one night in Salt Lake City, 2 nights up in Yellowstone with the lower loop tour, and then finishing the California Zephyr route out to San Francisco with a full day tour of Yosemite National Park. Now in Denver, you'll have a sightseeing tour of Rocky Mountain National Park that's done as a group, so that'll travel all throughout the park on a fully guided day tour. You'll have sightseeing tours of Arches and Canyonlands, Zion National Park, Bryce Canyon, and Capitol Reef. You'll have a stay and full day tour through Yellowstone National Park, and then the package ends with 2 nights in San Francisco and a day trip to Yosemite. So that is the Grand National Parks on the California Zephyr. Now, I do see some questions have come through. Thank you, folks. Keep sending them in. If anyone has any questions at all, I promise I will take time at the end of the presentation to cover all of them. But first, I will talk about some of the onboard accommodations on Amtrak. First level of which is coach accommodations. And I hope you can see there, folks, the comfort of the coach class on the Amtrak trains. There's 2 big plush seats, no pesky middle seat like there is on an airline, a nice big picture window to enjoy the sights out of, outlets to charge your devices in, a leg rest that'll kick up, a tray table that will fold down, plenty of room above head for your luggage, and the seats recline at a 45-degree angle. And I can't stress this enough, the amount of legroom you will have on the train. And I like to highlight this again, the freedom to get out and move about the train at your leisure. So you are not restricted to your seat. You can get up, walk around the train at your leisure, and nothing's going to happen like I know you usually get talked to on an airline. Now, the next level up is the sleeper roomette, which during the day, it has 2 big plush seats that face each other, a nice big picture window to enjoy all the sights out of. That's an Amtrak standard. You always have a nice big picture window for your seat or for your room. And a door that will shut and lock with drapes that will go over the windows for privacy. At night, as you can see by the diagram, everything folds down to bunk-style sleeping accommodations. Now, you might be saying to yourself, hey, Jarrett, where's that bathroom? I don't see a bathroom in the diagram. Well, the bathrooms for the roomette are down the hall. There's 4 bathrooms to every roomette car, and only those staying on the roomette car have access to those bathrooms. And they're also continuously cleaned out by a train car attendant. But you may say to yourself, I want to make sure I have a full bedroom with a bathroom in the room itself. No problem. That's the next level up to the full deluxe bedroom, which has a long couch and a reclining chair, still the big picture window as standard with Amtrak. At night, everything still folds down to bunk-style sleeping, as you can see from the diagram, but you will have your own private bathroom and shower on the room itself. Now, as I mentioned before, there are 3 trains on the Eastern Seaboard, the Capital Limited, Lakeshore Limited, and Silver Star. Those are the trains that don't have a dining car, so even if you book a roomette or bedroom, meals are not included. There is still a cafe car, however, but on every other train, as long as you have a roomette or a bedroom, all the meals are included. They're cooked to order. There's a full menu to choose from. As you can see, there's the Amtrak signature steak. There's always a salad option, a pasta option, a chicken option, a special of the evening, and the meals on the train are phenomenal. Now, if you did want to do some research with us, you could always go to amtrakvacations.com and take a look at some of our packages. And to book, feel free to either give us a call or you could, give us a call or you could work with your local travel agent. Now, everyday discounts, children aged between 2 to 12 years old will receive half off the rail portion of an Amtrak package. Seniors 65 and older will receive 10% off the rail portion of an Amtrak package. And then any active military personnel, spouses, and dependents will receive a 10% discount on the rail portion of an Amtrak package. Now, to highlight, again, we are in our flash sale season. So as long as you book one of these packages by January 25th, you can save $200 to $300 off per couple. Now, let me just re-highlight what that is in case a few of you weren't there at the beginning of the presentation. You book by January 25th on a package. The packages need to include a hotel, some form of sightseeing or attraction visiting, and the train. And if you book a roomette with the package, we can save you up to $200 per couple off. Or if you book a full bedroom with the bathroom in the room itself, we can save you up to $300 off per couple. So I want to thank you for attending the webinar today. Normally I go to the next slide that just says thank you for attending, but I'm just going to leave it on the flash sales slide right now, and I will take a few moments to answer some of your questions. So just give me a moment while I scroll back, because I do see that many of you sent in some good questions. Thank you for that, folks. All right. So someone was asking about the private services that I mentioned through Arches and Canyonlands and Bryce and Zion National Park. So I'm glad you're asking, because those are very nice packages that we've done a really good job putting them together. So when you get into Grand Junction, you spend one night at a hotel. The next morning you will wake up in your party. So whether you're a couple, whether you're a family of 4, whether you're a family of 6, but your specific party will be picked up by a driver with a private luxury SUV. So no one but those who are in your party, your group booking. So if it's mom and dad and 2 kids, it's only the 4 of you in that SUV. If it's husband and wife and no one else is traveling on the package, that's them in the private SUV with the private driver. There's no one else, no other parties are going to be in that vehicle with you. So you're not with a large bus full of strangers on a day tour. Those are your own private driver during the day in a luxury SUV, usually a Chevy Suburban or an Escalade. I hope that covered, and that's the benefit of traveling through this package, because it's private. You can, again, if you are hungry during the day and you're ready for lunch, you can just tell the driver to pull over at the next restaurant. If you're driving by a really beautiful lake, for an example, and you say, oh, I really want to snap a picture of that, the driver will pull over to the side of the road and they'll take the picture for you. All right, let's see. Someone was asking about any trains for the Grand Canyon that leave somewhere in Texas. So there's over 500 different stations to choose from. Now, to go to Texas or go to the Grand Canyon by way of Texas, you would have to presumably go up north to Chicago and take the train overnight, or go all the way out west to Los Angeles and take the train overnight from there. But there are over 500 different stations to travel to and travel from. And so, yeah, Texas wouldn't be a problem at all. Let's see, how far is the train station for the Grand Canyon from the train station? So the train will pull into Flagstaff, Arizona, and then we shuttle you from Flagstaff to Williams on a private bus. And then you spend one night at the Grand Canyon Railway Hotel. The next morning you wake up at the Grand Canyon Railway Hotel and board the actual Grand Canyon Railway train. That train will run you from Williams, Arizona into the South Rim of the canyon, and that Grand Canyon Railway will drop you off in the South Rim. And the depot is right in the heart of the South Rim, near all the hotels. Actually, that day when you arrive, you won't be going directly to your hotel. You'll get picked up for your sightseeing tour of the South Rim. Meanwhile, your luggage is being handled to the room for you, and then you're dropped off at the hotel after the tour is over. Someone's asking about, I'm traveling with my 15-year-old, and would a family bedroom be appropriate for it? Well, I will be quite honest with you. A 15-year-old is considered an adult by Amtrak standard. Now, I don't know if there's anyone else in the party, or your particular party, that's traveling. If it's just you and your daughter, then a family bedroom would be plenty big. As for the family bedrooms, or if you're bringing like a daughter, maybe other small children, max 4 people can be to a family bedroom. And the kids' beds are small. They're really for kids that are no older than around 7, 8 years old. And so if it's just you and your 15-year-old daughter, that family bedroom is going to be a good size and you'll be comfortable in it. If it's with your daughter and additional people, then unless there's small kids with you and your daughter, that really wouldn't work. I would get a roomette or bedroom or a couple of roomettes or bedrooms. Someone asked what the cafe car is. The cafe car is kind of like the dining car. It's basically for snacks, refreshments, maybe some sandwiches. It's not the full dining car. You can go there and get a beer, wine, or spirits, or little snacks and whatnot. Even a deck of cards if you want to play cards on the train. But it's not the full dining car. Pricing is always based on per couple, on a per person basis. So whenever you see pricing on our website or in a brochure, it's priced per person based on two people traveling. Someone asked about the Northern Rail experience. So good question. So they asked how many stops are on along the way. So I'm going to answer because that question could mean one thing or another. So as for the package, the Northern Rail experience, the only stops affiliated with the package are a night stay in Seattle after traveling from Chicago to Seattle, and then 2 night stay in San Francisco after going Seattle on the Coast Starlight down to San Francisco, and then you board in San Francisco and head back to Chicago. Now, those are the only packaged itinerary stops. There are stops along the way that you won't get off that are at the train stations for people to get on and off, and there's over 500 different stations throughout the United States. But really, the only places that it is applicable is Seattle and San Francisco. So I hope that may make sense to you. So okay, so to answer the question, if it's 2 adults and a 15-year-old, a family bedroom would not work. You would want to get 2 roomettes or 2 bedrooms or something of the sort. There is a handout on the side of the GoToWebinar panel. I think you should just be able to click on the handouts page, and then you can just simply click on the PDF. It should be pretty easy. As for handling your luggage, so if you're traveling through the stations, the big manned stations, we could actually add red cap service or luggage assistance, which will help you when you're actually in the station. They're the guys that'll come, they'll pick up your bags, deliver it from point A to point B, and help you out. Now, once you leave the station, it's yours to handle. If you don't ask for the red cap, which is free, by the way, it's free. There's no cost. We always advise tipping the young guys for their effort. If you have not added red cap, you will have to handle your luggage through the station on your own. And then I do want to say that, again, those are available at the big stations. As for like the small curbside or smaller stations, we can't guarantee it. There wouldn't be anyone there. So someone asked if water bottles are provided. So water bottles are provided in the roomettes or bedrooms. They already come with it, as well as usually the train will also have some coffee or even some juices down the hall for those in the roomettes or bedroom. As for if you're in coach, you just have to pay for it out of pocket. Someone asked about pricing in regards to single travelers. So we can't, we can't price it out for single travelers for price packaging or for the website or brochures. But we can always get a single supplement price if you call us or visit a local travel agent. We'll be able to price that out for you. So you won't be able to find a single person pricing on the website, but you will, we could always price it out for you. It is based on a double occupancy standard, so we price it out based on 2 people in a hotel room. If it is just 1 person, you're going to pay 100% for the hotel room, but we don't double up on charges or fees for sightseeing or for the ticket. You only pay for 1 person traveling on the ticket, only 1 person tour. I hope that answers for you. Someone asked about a pass to get on and off the train at your leisure. There are such things as rail passes. They're really not great for vacation travel. A rail pass, which Amtrak does, which allows you to get on and off X amount of times over, I think, a 30-day period or whatnot, that does exist. However, they're really good if you're someone that lives in, say, Rhode Island, but works in New York City, and you can just buy one ticket and it's good for several days, as opposed to travel where you're going to want to make sure everything's set up at a certain period, so that way you know you have already paid for the ticket, you know when you're going to get on the train, when you're going to get off. That way there's no confusion. Now, someone's asking about the date these packages are available by. So most of our packages run year round. Certain packages like our Glacier Park packages or some of our Yellowstone, that's only available in the summer. Glacier, for example, is only open June, July, August, first week of September. That's only available during that time. But many of our packages are open year round. So again, you could just inquire with either us at 1-800-268-7252 or check with a local travel agent. Someone's asking about a catalog or a brochure of our trips. We absolutely have a brochure that's good for packages for 2019 and 2020. Feel free to give us a call and we'll be able to send one right to your house. Someone's asking for the prices of the different roomettes, bedrooms, etc. I wouldn't be able to come up with a pricing right off the top of my head. There's too many variables. There's when you're going, where you're going, when you book, how long you're on the train, what the prices are available online. So I would just, if you're looking for an exact price of roomettes or bedrooms, give us a call or call your local travel agent. So that looks at, unless someone has any other questions, that looks like that is the end of the presentation today, unless we have one more question or two that pop on. So if no one does, well, I want to thank everybody for signing on today. I appreciate you having me and take a little time out of your day to talk about the national parks. And I hope you folks all have a wonderful rest of your day. Oh, if you did want to call from Australia, well, feel free to give us a call from Australia. Yes, the 1-800 number should book for you, no problem at all. And if you do, we're excited to have you from Australia for our train trip here in America. Have a nice day, folks.